Midnight. An old Chinese kitchen. A cockroach darts toward the rice jar. Grandma doesn't scream, she grabs one bottle, white rice vinegar. By morning, the roaches, ants, and mice are gone. No spray, no exterminator. Today, 31 vinegar hacks Chinese grandmothers have used for generations to wipe out roaches, ants, spiders, mice, and bedbugs. Stay till the end. Hack number 1 clears an entire infestation in 1 week. Vinegar is acetic acid, and pests can't survive it. It erases the scent trails ants and mice use to navigate. It attacks the way insects breathe. And at full strength, it breaks down their shells completely. No poison, no exterminator. Just 1 bottle you already own. Let's start. Number 1. The rice jar. Ants seal in almost every Chinese kitchen. The rice jar holds a kind of sacred status, and unfortunately it's also one of the very first places ants will target, especially in humid weather when a single stray grain ends up stuck to the rim. Take a cloth soaked in undiluted white vinegar and wipe down the entire outer surface of the jar, paying close attention to the lid, the rim, and the area directly underneath where the jar sits on the counter or shelf. Do this every few days, and place a vinegar-dampened cloth folded beneath the base of the jar itself for extra protection. Because ants rely completely on scent memory to locate and revisit a food source, once that trail is gone, the rice jar essentially disappears from the colony's radar. And new scouts sent out to check on it come back with nothing to report. Number 2. The soy sauce and vinegar cockroach ambush. This one comes straight out of an old-school pantry trick. Mix a small dish of dark soy sauce with a splash of white vinegar and a single drop of dish soap, then leave the dish uncovered somewhere near the stove or sink before bed. Roaches are drawn in almost instantly by the salty, fermented smell of the soy sauce, but the moment they touch the liquid surface, the dish soap breaks the tension and the vinegar finishes the job. This trick works as bait and weapon combined into one simple dish, and it's especially effective in kitchens where roaches have already learned to avoid open traps or bait stations. Number 3. The wok station degreaser spray. Anyone who cooks regularly with a wok knows how quickly grease builds up on the surrounding walls, the stovetop, and especially the exhaust hood above it, and that grease is exactly what draws roaches and ants in droves. Mix equal parts white vinegar and hot water in a spray bottle, and after cooking each night, wipe down the stove, the hood, and the wall directly behind the wok thoroughly. This does 2 things simultaneously. It strips away the grease residue that pests feed on and thrive around, while leaving behind a strong scent barrier that discourages them from returning to that same spot the next night. Number 4. The threshold rope barrier. Many older-style Chinese homes and apartments have a slightly raised threshold at the doorway, a small ridge you have to step over when entering a room. Soak a length of plain cotton rope in undiluted vinegar and lay it flat directly across that threshold, especially at entry points from a courtyard, stairwell, or hallway. Roaches breathe through those small pores along their sides, and the concentrated fumes rising continuously off a soaked rope create a genuine wall they instinctively refuse to cross. Re-soak the rope every couple of days as it dries out, and you'll notice roach activity near that entrance drop off almost entirely within a week. Number 5. The balcony spiderweb. White balconies, covered walkways, and stairwells in Chinese apartment buildings are prime real estate for spiders, especially near exterior lights that attract flying insects at night. Mix 1 part vinegar with 3 parts water in a spray bottle, spray directly onto any web you find, and wipe it away completely with an old rag rather than just knocking it down. Then spray the corners, railings, and light fixtures themselves. The leftover acidic residue tells any spider scouting that same spot that it's no longer a safe place to rebuild, and most will relocate somewhere less irritating within days. Number 6. The fermented flytrap. Combine white vinegar with a spoonful of sugar and 1 single drop of dish soap in a small bowl or jar. Cover it loosely with plastic wrap and poke a handful of tiny holes across the top. The fermented, faintly sweet smell mimics the overripe fruit, sauces, and cooking scraps common in a Chinese kitchen, which draws flies in remarkably fast, especially during the summer months. Once they land on the surface looking for that smell, the soap breaks the tension of the liquid, and they sink immediately, unable to escape. Set 2 or 3 of these near the trash bin and kitchen window for the best results. Number 7. The mouse hole steel wool plug before you seal up any small gap along a wall, under a cabinet, or around a pipe entering the kitchen. Dip a piece of steel wool in vinegar and let it soak for a minute before pushing it firmly into the opening. Mice have an extraordinarily sharp sense of smell, far sharper than most people realize, and a strongly scented entry point is often enough on its own to make them search for an easier way in elsewhere. The scent clings stubbornly to the steel wool fibers for days at a time, reinforcing that warning every single time a mouse gets close enough to investigate. Number 8. The bedding and mattress bedbug spray. Strip the mattress completely bare, mix a 50-50 batch of vinegar and water in a large spray bottle, and thoroughly soak every seam, fold, tag, and edge across the entire surface, not just the top. Flip the mattress and repeat the same process on the underside. Once it's fully treated, let it dry completely in direct sunlight if at all possible, which lines up perfectly with the common Chinese household habit of airing bedding out on balconies during the day. The combination of natural UV exposure and the vinegar residue is dramatically more effective together than either method used on its own, since heat alone struggles with bedbug eggs and vinegar alone struggles with a mature infestation, but paired together, they cover each other's weaknesses. Number 9. The bookshelf and paper. Silverfish trap. Old books, stacks of paper, and cardboard storage boxes tucked away in a spare room or closet are an absolute magnet for silverfish, which feed on the starch found in paper, glue, and book bindings. Soak a handful of cotton balls in undiluted vinegar and tuck them into the back corners of bookshelves, behind stacked boxes, and along the base of closets where paper tends to accumulate. Replace these cotton balls weekly since they dry out and lose their strength over time. The fumes alone are enough to drive silverfish away from your paper goods without ever needing to spray a chemical anywhere near your books or important documents. Number 10. The bathroom drain. Flush floor drains in many Chinese apartment bathrooms trap a slow buildup of hair, soap scum, and organic material along the inside walls of the pipe, and that buildup is exactly what drain flies breed in. Pour half a cup of baking soda directly down the drain, follow it immediately with a full cup of white vinegar, and let the resulting fizzing reaction sit undisturbed for about 15 minutes before flushing everything through with a kettle of boiling water. Repeat this process every few days for roughly 2 weeks straight during an active infestation. The physical fizzing action helps scrub the biofilm lining off the pipe walls, while the acidity that follows makes the entire environment far too hostile for any surviving larvae. Number 11. The balcony plant. Earwig spray. Chinese balconies are frequently lined with potted herbs, chilies, and small vegetable plants, and earwigs love hiding in the damp soil and shaded spaces beneath those pots. After the sun goes down and earwigs become active, mix 2 parts vinegar with 1 part water and spray thoroughly around the base of every pot as well as along the balcony floor and any nearby drainage points. The acid disrupts the moisture-seeking instincts earwigs rely on to find shelter, pushing them away from your plants and back outside where they belong. Number 12. The fruit bowl flytrap. A shallow bowl filled with a ½ inch of vinegar and a few drops of dish soap placed directly beside a bowl of fresh fruit works the exact same way in a Chinese kitchen as it does anywhere else in the world, but it matters even more here since fresh fruit is almost always left out on the counter rather than refrigerated. Refresh the mixture in the bowl every 2 days without fail, and within about a week the fruit fly population in that kitchen collapses completely, since you're removing flies from the cycle faster than new ones can hatch and reproduce. Number 13. The pet bedding flea rinse for households with a family dog or cat that spends time both indoors and out. Fleas can quickly become a serious problem, especially in the warmer months. Add a full cup of white vinegar directly into the rinse cycle whenever you wash the pet's blanket, bed cover, or any rug they regularly lie on. The acetic acid kills off flea eggs and larvae buried deep in the fabric fibers, strips away the oily residue that adult fleas cling to for grip, and neutralizes the pet odor that draws fleas toward that bedding in the first place, effectively breaking the cycle at its source rather than just treating symptoms. Number 14. The courtyard mosquito treatment. Many older Chinese homes feature a small shared courtyard or a row of potted plants along a corridor, each with a saucer underneath that quietly collects rainwater over time, creating a perfect breeding ground for mosquitoes without anyone noticing. Add roughly 1 tablespoon of vinegar for every gallon of standing water sitting in these saucers, buckets, or decorative containers, and repeat this weekly throughout the mosquito season. This small addition disrupts mosquito larvae development just enough to stop the cycle without causing any harm to the plants sitting above. Number 15. The dried goods pantry wipe. Chinese pantries tend to be stocked heavily with dried mushrooms, dried noodles, various grains, and other shelf-stable goods, all of which are extremely attractive to pantry moths once they find their way inside a bag or container. Empty the pantry shelves completely, wipe every surface down thoroughly with undiluted vinegar on a cloth, and let everything air dry fully with the doors left open before doing a second full wipe-down pass. This process destroys the pheromone residue that continues attracting new moths and kills off any eggs already present on contact. Going forward, transfer dry goods into sealed glass or airtight plastic containers rather than leaving the original packaging exposed. Number 16. The damp storage room. Centipede spray. Storage rooms, ground floor units, and any space that tends to stay consistently damp are exactly the kind of environment house centipedes are drawn to, and they're genuinely one of the more unsettling pests to encounter unexpectedly. Spray undiluted vinegar directly along every baseboard throughout these damp areas and simply let it dry in place without wiping it away. Reapply this treatment every couple of weeks during the rainy season when centipede activity tends to spike noticeably. Number 17. The garden bed squirrel deterrent. For households that maintain a small vegetable garden. Whether on a balcony or in a shared courtyard plot, squirrels digging up freshly planted bulbs and roots can undo weeks of work in a single afternoon. Soak several old rags or sponges in vinegar and place them strategically around the edges of the garden bed, replacing them every 5 to 7 days or immediately after any rainfall washes the scent away. A squirrel's sense of smell is remarkably sharp, and the strong lingering odor is typically enough to send them digging somewhere else entirely. Number 18. The lamp and bowl stink bug trap. Set a wide, shallow bowl filled with about an inch of vinegar directly beneath a desk lamp or other light source in an otherwise dark room during the evening. Stink bugs are naturally drawn toward light sources as they search for a way indoors during the cooler fall months, and as they fly toward the lamp, they inevitably drop into the bowl below and are unable to climb back out. Empty and refresh the bowl daily for as long as stink bug activity remains high in your area. Number 19. The houseplant whitefly spray. Whiteflies tend to cluster in large numbers along the undersides of leaves, quietly draining sap from houseplants until the plant begins to visibly weaken. Mix 1 tablespoon of vinegar with a full quart of water and just a small drop of dish soap, then spray thoroughly across the underside of every affected leaf where the insects are gathered. The acid begins breaking down their protective waxy coating almost immediately, causing dehydration, while the soap finishes the job by suffocating them completely within a day or two. Number 20. The seasonal fabric storage rinse. Traditional Chinese clothing storage often includes wool sweaters, silk garments, and heavier fabrics that get packed away between seasons, and unfortunately, those exact materials are a favorite target of carpet beetles. Before folding these items away into storage, run them through a wash cycle with a full cup of vinegar added in alongside your regular detergent. The faint residue left behind on the fibers makes the fabric significantly less appealing to carpet beetle larvae, and tucking a vinegar-dampened cloth into the storage container or bag adds an additional layer of protection for the entire season. Number 21. The eaves and balcony wasp spray. Before wasp season fully begins in early spring, spray undiluted vinegar generously along the underside of roof eaves, balcony ceilings, and any covered overhangs around the exterior of the home. Scout wasps select potential nesting sites partly based on smell and surface texture during this early scouting period, and a surface that's already been treated with vinegar is one they will typically pass over entirely in favor of somewhere else, preventing an active nest from ever forming there in the first place. Number 22. The courtyard boundary tick spray. For homes located near green spaces, parks, or any patch of overgrown vegetation, mix 1 part vinegar with 3 parts water and use a garden sprayer to treat the transition zone where your yard or courtyard meets that wilder area. This creates a strong sensory barrier that discourages ticks from migrating across that boundary and onto your property. And reapplying after any heavy rainfall keeps that barrier consistently effective throughout tick season. Number 23. The bedding dust mite refresh. Lightly spray your mattress and pillows with an equal mixture of vinegar and water, taking care not to soak them too heavily, and then let everything dry completely in direct sunlight, which pairs naturally with the common household habit of airing bedding out on a balcony rail during the day. The acid breaks down the protein coating that dust mites depend on to retain moisture, causing them to gradually dry out and die off. Repeat this treatment roughly every 2 weeks alongside washing your actual sheets and covers in hot water on the same day. Number 24. The balcony garden aphid spray. Mix 1 part vinegar with 3 parts water and spray thoroughly onto any plant showing visible clusters of aphids gathered along new growth or the underside of leaves. The acidity dissolves their soft outer shell relatively quickly on contact. Apply this treatment during the early morning or evening hours rather than in the middle of the day, since combining strong direct sun with an acidic spray can occasionally stress more delicate plants, and repeat every few days until the entire colony has been eliminated. Number 25. The roach egg case soak. Cockroach egg cases, known as Uthicae, are notably tough and leathery, and they're highly resistant to most standard surface sprays you might use elsewhere in the home. Soaking a case directly in undiluted vinegar for several minutes softens the protective outer casing enough to destroy the eggs sealed inside completely. Check carefully behind the refrigerator, inside cabinet hinges, and along any wall cracks near plumbing, and treat any case you find generously with vinegar before ever attempting to remove or dispose of it. Number 26. The houseplant gnat soil soak. Water your houseplants with a diluted mixture of 1 part vinegar to 4 parts water roughly once every 2 weeks to disrupt fungus gnat larvae currently living and feeding within the potting soil. Beyond the vinegar treatment itself, allowing the soil to dry out fully between each watering makes the overall environment considerably less hospitable for gnats trying to breed there in the first place. Number 27. Post-travel luggage spray. After any trip, spray your suitcase inside and out with undiluted vinegar before bringing it inside. Let it air out for 30 minutes. This can kill bedbugs or eggs hiding in seams, one of the most common ways infestations start. Number 28. Early morning wasp spray. At dawn, spray small nests with a 1:1 vinegar and water mix when wasps are slow. Use caution and protective clothing. Best for new, smaller nests. Number 29. Nightly kitchen scent. Reset wipe counters and kitchen surfaces with vinegar every night. Mice rely on scent trails. This erases them and breaks their routine over time. Number 30. Whole home perimeter treatment. Once a season, wipe baseboards, windows, and door edges with a vinegar water mix. This creates a barrier pests avoid. Number 31. Complete cockroach elimination spray. Vinegar at entry points. Wipe all surfaces, pour it down drains, and place vinegar-soaked cotton behind appliances. Repeat on day 1, 3, and 7 to hit all hiding spots at once. And that's the complete list. All 31 hacks explained in full. If your own family has a vinegar trick that somehow didn't make it onto this list, drop it in the comments below, because methods like these deserve to be passed down and remembered rather than quietly forgotten with each new generation. If any part of this video genuinely helped you today, do us a favor and share it with someone right now who's currently fighting a losing battle against roaches, ants, or mice in their own kitchen. They will absolutely thank you for it later. See you in the next one.